Hi again. I am posting this time because I am at the end of one of the worst panic attacks that I've had in a week. Well, the last one I had was exactly a week ago. It was in the middle, like around midnight on Saturday night. And it is Saturday, 2 o'clock, 2:45 in the afternoon, a week later. I've been dealing with little mini panic attacks all week long. Pretty much every day I've had at least feeling like one's been coming on, or a mild one, or 3 or 5 a day, depending on the day. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath because I just finished having a panic and also a depressive episode attack. So I had a panic attack and then it turned into full-on depressive crying and bad thoughts, sad thoughts, guilty thoughts of things I've done in my life that I'm not proud of or happy about. Hit me so hard that I just started sobbing. And that's not usually me. I'm usually more, it's easier for me to get angry than to get tearful, usually. And again, since this Cymbalta thing, getting off of Cymbalta, I am very teary now, more so than ever. So it's about, what's it been, about 2 weeks since I really started the tapering on the Cymbalta pretty regularly. I think it's been about 2 weeks where I've been doing the one grain from a capsule less every day. I had already started tapering down, I could go through that whole Cymbalta thing another time. But bottom line is I've been getting off of Cymbalta, which is a national major antidepressant. And I've been on it for years. I'm trying to think exactly how long I've been on it. It seems like it's like 10 years, close to 10 anyway. Too long to be on anything, let alone what I'm reading about this drug I don't like, and to think I've been putting that in my body and affecting my brain for that long. But that said, if I am off of it's the only antidepressant that I take, and if I'm off of it for a couple of months and I'm still feeling this sad, this depressed, this regretful about my life and choices I've made and things like that, if in 2 months I'm still feeling this way or worse, then I'm going to have to consider that maybe I'm one of those people that just does need to be on an antidepressant at all times. I'm okay with that if I have to. My first choice is to go natural and not be on anything other than natural medications, such as herbals and over-the-counter type things and natural foods that are known to help depression, or so they say. I'm not feeling like any food has ever helped me health-wise the way that it should, the way that I read about, and the way that makes sense to me, that foods, it would make sense to me that they were put here to be medicines. But I just don't have much luck, or maybe I just haven't stuck with it long enough or something, but I haven't had much luck in food as medicine for me. Here comes an airplane. I'm going to let that go. Enjoy my blue sky. Yes, I live in Southern California. It's a nice place to be, and probably the only place I personally could ever live, other than Hawaii maybe, and maybe a few other very choice remote places. I am always cold, pretty much. Although with the fibromyalgia that I have this thing where my body won't regulate temperature properly sometimes, quite often, actually. Sometimes throughout the day, I should say, because it's every day. And sometimes, even though the weather is cold, I'll be having a hot flash. It'll be hot, way too hot. And sometimes on a warm, sunny day, I could be feeling like I'm chilled. It's another wonderful thing that I get to enjoy with these health problems. I was going to talk about the panic attack, and it's weird. When they're happening, I usually don't feel good enough to think, to grab the computer and start talking. Plus, talking is also hard for me when I'm not feeling right, when I'm having a panic attack. And then by the time I think to grab the camera, or in this case the computer, I'm out of that mode, and like my mind's gone blank as to what my main feelings were. About 20 minutes ago and an hour before that or more, I was just so lost in a panic attack of bad thoughts and bad feelings, and I wanted to catch it then, so I'm going to have to just try again. I know they will happen again. Wish that I could say, well, I don't know if I'll get another one or not, but I do know I will. I'm at a really weird place in my life right now where I am trying to get off the Cymbalta and trying to lower my dose and get off of gabapentin. And those are two really strong drugs that mess with your mind and your head and your body. So I'm taking on a lot right now, and emotionally it's a hard time in my life because my mom had a heart attack last year and she's not quite herself, and I can see and hear in her voice whenever I talk to her that she's really aging, and this thing really did affect her very, very strongly, and that she's basically not my young mom anymore. She's 74 or 75. I think she's 75, going to be 76 in June. Let's see, she was born in 42. And I'm terrible at math, and coming out of a panic attack, really bad. But yeah, that's where we're at. So she's, that's not horrendously old, but she hasn't been one to take care of herself personally, her body, or anything about herself. She always puts other people first, mostly my dad, who is 86. And she was a smoker for 30 years. She's been a functioning and less functioning, I would say, as she gets older, alcoholic. And then the heart attack, and she's also a diabetic. So her body's not doing that well. So I worry all the time if I'm going to lose her. And if I do, when I do, of course I'm going to lose her. But when I do, it's going to be so hard on me because we've had a difficult but wonderful relationship. We love each other so much. And in some ways we're very, very close, but in other ways we clash. We have very different viewpoints in some ways on some things. In other ways, we're very much alike. So probably like a lot of mother-daughter relationships, it's a difficult one. It'll be difficult for those reasons, and for the fact that I just love her so much. And she's my mom, and there were a lot of times in both of our lives where each of us could have done better. I guess regret is something that I'm really dealing with a lot. It seems ever stronger with the panic attacks and the depression. and anxiety that I'm really dealing with right now while messing with these drugs, getting off of these drugs. So those are some thoughts for today. I really was hoping that I would have caught that panic attack and put it on video for you today, because it was a doozy. It was not fun. I hate these effing things. I really, gosh, I just don't want this to be in my life. I don't want this to be a part of my life, but it is. So I need to shut up about that and deal with it and just realize it's something. I guess, one thing I'm pretty sure of is that everybody has something that they deal with. Even the most beautiful people, celebrities, have something. Maybe some of them more than the average person, because they are very driven people, generally people that work very hard to become who they are and where they're at. And that probably takes a toll in a lot of ways. Oh, I got my hair cut yesterday. I had 4 inches taken off. I had like ½ inch of dead ends, and then there was the tail end of some bleach that I had on the ends of my hair from a long time ago. And that finally grew out, so my hair is finally all my own natural color. At 56, I have very little gray. This streak right here, I have a tiny bit of gray in here, not as much as it looks. But what I do is we cover it with an ash blonde, a real light ash blonde. And she's done that throughout, just at the top layer a little bit. And this is all natural, finally, for the first time in a couple of years. Because I was dyeing it purples and pinks and blues and yellows and all kinds of colors for a while. Allergies are real bad today. Sorry again. You must think I'm always scratching my nose. I had just finished crying not too long ago, and that's part of the reason it's really bugging me. Plus, I'm sitting outside. I'm probably picking up all the pollen. I'm an allergic person on top of every other fun thing that I deal with. Pretty fucked up, basically. A lot of ways. But you gotta deal. What can you do, You deal with who you are. I forget what I was talking about. Mind is really wandering today a lot. Anyway, comment. Give me some comments. I want to get to know you people. I want to hear more about what other people go through. Sometimes lately I feel like I'm the only person in the world that deals with this kind of stuff. I've been on forums a lot over the years, and they're just not that rewarding to me. Unless I find the right one. If somebody wants to recommend a really great forum for chronic pain, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, either separately or all together, that would be great. But usually I don't like forums as much as just hearing from a person one-on-one what their experience is, I guess, rather than reading the comments. Not as fun. Although here on YouTube, it's the same thing, but I don't know. Just trying this. We'll see. It may help me, it may not. I'm not here just to help myself. I'm also I'm putting myself out there to help others. I have a lot of experience over my lifetime of dealing with anxiety and shyness when I was a kid, being bullied when I was a kid, chronic pain since 40, and depression, anxiety, pretty much off and on at different times all throughout my life for different reasons, but it is definitely my basic nature to be an anxious person and to get depressed. I have to fight really hard within myself to concentrate on positive things. I'm not a real natural positive thinker, and I'm not happy to admit that. I want to be a positive person. I strive to be, and I try real hard, so therefore I am in some ways. But my natural nature is, to look on the dark side, to see the glass half empty. and I don't like that, but I was raised that way by, for the most part, during my formative years, by my grandmother, whose ring I wear, my grandma in heaven. I was raised by her and my grandfather, who was a great person, but he was out busy working, and my nature was kind of like my grandma's anyway. Plus, it was reinforced by her manic depressive, as they called it at the time, manic depression. I guess today they would call her bipolar, and she had a real negative attitude too. I love you, Grandma, but we know the things you struggled with. And it's okay. We all got something. Some things. I picked up a lot of her traits, though, and a lot of them aren't good, although she was a wonderful person in many ways, too. A very caring grandmother, a very generous person to her friends and her loved ones. She and my mom had a very difficult relationship as well. And when I said my mom and I struggle, my grandma and her daughter really struggled. And that's probably why my mom and I do. My mom didn't have a good relationship with her mother. Gosh, I'm covering a lot of bases today. More than I intended to. Like I said, had planned on just talking mostly about the panic attack and the depression. I was here just in terrible, terrible sobs and crying, tears all down my face about a half hour ago. And now I'm kind of normal. It's just the mood swings are exhausting. Was just going to say one more thing about my hair because it looks crazy today. Yesterday, after she put the highlights in and she gave me the cut, she blew it dry and then put these gorgeous big fat spirals all around. Well, I slept on it, and this is the hairstyle today because I haven't felt good enough to even run a comb through my hair or a brush. So that's why it looks pretty wild. It's Robert Plant 1973 on one side, blah on the other side. And this hanging in my face just constantly, right here. It's just right there. I'll leave you with that. Okay, you guys have a great day. And if anyone's even having a panic attack or had one, within the last few days, please leave me a comment. I'm wondering if people are even seeing my videos. It's kind of lonely. I hope it'll pick up a little. I need to learn better ways to do my keywords, I know. And I just don't know much about any of this at all. Just winging it right now. So I'll get this uploaded. Have as good a day as you can if you're suffering, and have a great day if you're not. If you're just here to kind of see what people go through to help someone be there for them. Support people with depression and anxiety. It's so difficult. It's a real illness, and it takes away a lot of people every year from suicide. I don't ever want to be one of those people, but sometimes you think, why am I here? Well, let's all help each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching if you made it to the end. I know I talk a lot.